Hey everyone, I'm Aurelia, and welcome back to Green Bricks, the podcast where we explore how sustainability, smart investing, and architecture come together to shape the future of our cities. Today, I'm diving into one of my absolute favorite topics: adaptive reuse. It's a simple but powerful idea. Instead of tearing down old buildings and starting from scratch, we breathe new life into what already exists. You've probably seen it without realizing. An old warehouse turned into loft apartments, a church that's now a library, or a forgotten factory transformed into a bustling food market. Adaptive reuse is about transformation, about seeing potential where others see decay. But it's so much more than creative design. It's a sustainability strategy, an investment opportunity, and in many ways, a form of storytelling. Every old structure holds history, culture, and embodied carbon, the hidden energy and emissions used to make those materials decades ago. When we preserve and repurpose, we're not just saving character, we're saving the planet a lot of waste and emissions. Think about it. Every time a building is demolished, all the energy and materials that went into creating it vanish into rubble. And when a new one is built, the cycle starts all over again. More cement, more steel, more emissions. Adaptive reuse interrupts that cycle. It's one of the fastest, most practical ways for the property sector to move toward net zero. Across the world, cities are filled with underused or abandoned spaces, empty offices that never recovered after the pandemic, shopping malls that lost their crowds, schools and industrial sites sitting idle. In the US, analysts predict that over a billion square feet of office space could become obsolete by 2030. That's a staggering number, but it's also a once in a generation opportunity. Imagine what could happen if even a fraction of those spaces were reinvented, not demolished, but reimagined as housing, creative hubs, community centers, and energy efficient businesses. Adaptive reuse turns obsolescence into opportunity. And it's not just environmentally smart, it's financially strategic. Developers and investors are realizing that restoring and upgrading existing buildings can actually reduce costs and timeframes compared to starting from the ground up. Many governments offer tax breaks, heritage grants, and planning flexibility for reuse projects. Plus, properties that embrace sustainability and authenticity tend to attract modern tenants who care about impact as much as convenience. Take London's Battersea Power Station, for example. Once a crumbling industrial relic, is now one of the most vibrant mixed use destinations in Europe, home to shops, restaurants, offices, and apartments. That project didn't just preserve a landmark, it redefined an entire district. Or take smaller scale projects across Africa and Europe, disused barns transformed into eco lodges, historic schools reborn as boutique hotels. These aren't just renovations, they're rebirths. What makes adaptive reuse truly exciting is the blend of old and new, the way heritage architecture meets cutting edge sustainability. Engineers are now using 3D scanning to assess old structures, ensuring safety and efficiency. Architects are pairing recycled steel and low carbon concrete with natural materials like reclaimed wood and green roofs. Smart technology, sensors, automation, and AI driven building management is turning these historical spaces into high performance, energy efficient properties. And there's something poetic about it, isn't there? You walk into a building with original brick walls and timber beams from a century ago, yet it's powered by solar panels and monitored by smart systems. It's like history and innovation shaking hands. The design aspect also tells a deeper story. People are drawn to authenticity, that sense that a space has a past. Adaptive reuse offers that in a way that new construction can't. Those imperfections, the aged textures, the echoes of what once was, they create emotional depth. When you step into a converted post office cafe or a refurbished train depot gallery, you feel the layers of time. You're part of a story that began long before you walked in. But let's not overlook the environmental math here. Studies show that adaptive reuse can reduce embodied carbon emissions by up to 75% compared to demolition and rebuilding. That's an enormous cut. And when you add modern energy systems, insulation upgrades, and solar integration, these projects become powerful case studies for net zero living. This approach isn't just for developers, it's for communities too. Adaptive reuse keeps neighborhoods alive. It preserves cultural identity, prevents urban sprawl, and strengthens local economies. Instead of erasing history, we're adding to it layer by layer, generation by generation. Take, for example, an old factory in Nairobi turned into a startup incubator, or a colonial warehouse in Lagos converted into an art studio collective. These projects don't just transform buildings, they transform lives, they create jobs, attract tourism, and ignite local pride. And here's another reason investors are paying attention. Adaptive reuse fits perfectly into the global ESG movement, environmental, social, and governance. Investors are actively seeking real estate portfolios with positive environmental and social outcomes. Buildings that prove measurable carbon reductions, community engagement, and long term value resilience. Adaptive reuse hits every one of those notes. So, yes, it's smart business, but it's also the kind of business that aligns with purpose. As urban populations grow and land becomes scarcer, we can't afford to build everything new. We have to build smarter. The greenest building is often the one that already exists. And when we reuse, we do more than save materials, we conserve identity. Because the truth is, our cities are full of silent stories waiting for a second act. Buildings that once powered industries, taught generations, or hosted communities. They don't have to fade into history. With the right vision, they can evolve, adapt, and serve again. So the next time you pass by a boarded up school or a crumbling theater, try to see beyond the decay. Imagine what it could be: a solar powered co working space, a sustainable marketplace, a housing project that gives families a fresh start. The future of real estate isn't just in the next groundbreaking, it's hidden in the bricks and beams of yesterday. Adaptive reuse isn't about nostalgia, it's about evolution. It's about looking at our built environment with imagination and responsibility, recognizing that progress doesn't always mean starting over. Sometimes it means honoring what's already here and making it work for the world we want to live in. So, whether you're an investor, architect, policymaker, or just someone who loves the beauty of old buildings, remember this: the future is already built. We just have to reinvent it. Thank you for listening. I'm Aurelia, and this has been Green Bricks. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, share it with a friend, and join me next time as we explore green finance and the rise of ESG in real estate. Until then, Keep seeing potential where others see walls, because transformation starts with vision, and every great idea begins with a single thought. What if we reuse what we already have? Thank you for listening. Kindly like, share, subscribe, and comment. I will see you in my next video. Bye.